The alarm didn't beep. It screamed. I dropped the soup bowl and sprinted down the hall. My wife, Sophia, 37 weeks pregnant and already on supplemental oxygen, was clawing at her mask like it could give her air if she just pressed hard enough. The bedroom was dark. No hum from the inverter, no blinking status lights. Only the shrill siren and Sophia's gasps. That morning, Colleen Dewitt, president of our homeowners association, had warned me. You're out of compliance, Mr. Mercer. If you won't remove the auxiliary line, we will. I hadn't believed she meant it literally. Not like this. I flipped open the breaker panel I'd bolted to the wall myself. Everything live, except one switch, the medical inverter powering Sophia's oxygen. Not tripped from overload, but forced off. Someone had been here. I scooped Sophia into my arms and ran for the carport. By the time we reached the she was in preterm labor. Our daughter's heart rate skittered across the monitor like Morse code. That night I sat in a hospital chair and made a promise. Colleen Dewitt had declared war on a family just trying to survive. She had no idea who she was up against. A pattern of punishment. When I got home, the house was untouched. Lights on. Fridge humming. Only that one breaker flipped. The inverter I designed had a 5-minute buffer. If they'd cut it 2 minutes earlier, I'd be planning a funeral instead of a lawsuit. The oxygen tank sat disconnected on the porch swing Sophia had picked from a catalog last fall. A place for quiet nights and baby names. Now it looked like a crime scene. I laid out every HOA letter across the dining table. 14 citations, 11 fines, 2 warnings. All after I filed for a medical accommodation. Unauthorized. External conduit. Non-compliant inverter housing color. Visible medical equipment on patio, complete with a photo of Sophia doubled over during an inspection. Patterns tell stories. Colleen had found a cancer patient for a beige door, a widower for potted plants, an immigrant family for holiday lights. They weren't enforcing rules, they were selecting targets. I opened my laptop. Years of record keeping, scanned citations cross-referenced with Nevada Building Code, ADA protections, and utility exemptions. Were ready. I'd built the archive as an engineer's habit. Now it would be evidence. The quiet witness. Across the street, the HOA's maintenance cart puttered to a stop. Gregory Lorne, longtime groundskeeper, sat motionless, hands on the wheel. 10 minutes passed before he killed the engine and walked toward the electrical shed. He looked at my house, then at the conduit, shoulders heavy. He'd been there that morning. He'd seen something. He just hadn't decided what to do with it yet. I let him go, sealed my documents in a manila envelope, and started drafting my first complaint to the city inspector. Not to fire yet, just to start. The clock. But I knew a civil violation wasn't enough. Someone had cut a medical power line. That's a felony. The breaker tells the truth. HOA threats escalated. A final notice taped to the community mailbox ordered me to remove the unauthorized line within 48 hours or face board-initiated physical disconnection. They attached another photo of my inverter panel like it was contraband. I opened the breaker again under a flashlight. The toggle resisted. Someone had jammed it hard. A scratch, a fresh silver crescent, marked the plastic where a metal tool had slipped. Most homeowners wouldn't know the difference. I did. I took photos, logged voltage, temperature, and position. Inside the breaker was my ACE, a silent timestamping module I'd built into the circuit. Legal gray area, but invaluable now. When I pulled the log, it showed manual disengage at 11:46 a.m., 45 minutes after Gregory had been authorized for inspection. This wasn't a malfunction. It was sabotage. Gregory's conscience. The next evening, Gregory showed up again, clipboard hugged to his chest. I walked down the porch steps slowly. You were there, I said quietly. He looked at the sky. I just handle tools and fences. Then why send you the day my wife almost died? His thumb rubbed the inside of his glove like it burned. Finally, in a low voice. I've been on this street 30 years. I watched her, Colleen, turn neighbors against each other one rule at a time. But I didn't sign up to watch someone die. Not a confession, but close. He handed me a blank inspection form with my address and that day's date. A placeholder for whatever official action they planned. Then he walked away. The smoking panel. I had less than 48 hours. With Gregory's unsigned form and my inverter log, I already had a circumstantial case. I needed one more link. Proof Colleen herself touched the switch. Pinehurst Commons grid diagram showed an HOA-controlled subpanel behind the rec center. Any interference with medically essential lines routed through a permitted system was a direct violation of state code. If that junction bore the same scratch marks as my breaker, the case would be bulletproof. Gregory texted at dawn, "We need to talk." Rec center parking lot. Under a flickering light, he looked smaller than in daylight. He handed me a brass key. Maintenance door. Service log inside. Paper, not digital. She signed it after the cutoff. Then he told me the rest. Colleen had ordered him to shut off the auxiliary line. He opened the box, but hesitated, warned her it powered a medical device. She told him to get back in the cart and did it herself. Silence isn't innocence. But speaking up can be redemption. Building the case. That night my office became a command center. 2 monitors glowed with spreadsheets, breaker logs, HOA fine patterns. I scanned Gregory's signed work order and the rec center. Access log showing C. Dowit, 11:39 a.m., lot 17, with no recorded exit. I clipped the audio from my porch mic. A faint rattle, then Colleen's voice. If he wants to make this difficult, he'll learn the cost. I filed not 1 but 2 reports. Nevada Public Utilities Commission for tampering with a medically designated circuit. Office of the Attorney General, Utility Crime. Division, for criminal interference. Within 24 hours, both agencies acknowledged receipt. An active investigation opened. Colleen had flipped a switch. So had I. The meeting that ended it. The next HOA board meeting was standing room only. Neighbors who'd stayed silent for years now crowded the hall. Colleen sat at the center table, microphone poised. I laid my binder and envelope on the table. "I'm Daniel Mercer, lot 17. My wife and newborn daughter are alive despite what happened here." I showed the altered panel map, the tampered torque seal, the scratch patterns, the audio clip. Then Gregory stepped forward and, voice shaking but clear, said, "She ordered the shutdown. I warned her it was medical. She said it wasn't our concern." One by one, residents spoke, holiday lights. Service dogs, beige doors. A chorus of grievances that turned into a pattern of abuse. Colleen reached for the mic, but I cut her off calmly. The Nevada Public Utilities Commission and Attorney General have already opened formal investigations. For the first time, she looked rattled. Judgment. By week's end, the state suspended the HOA board. Colleen Dewitt was removed from office, barred from any housing authority position for 10 years, and named in an active criminal case for utility tampering and gross negligence. A judge called her actions one flick of a switch away from attempted homicide and ordered $210,000 in damages to affected families plus a new bylaw. Medical protections can never be overruled by cosmetic compliance. When we left the courthouse, Sophia squeezed my hand. Evelyn slept in her carrier under the quilt Sophia had stitched during the long nights before everything went sideways. Aftermath. Back home, the porch swing creaked softly. The oxygen line was gone now, but the wind still moved through the cedars like breath. Across the street, neighbors were gathering, not out of fear, but relief. Lawn chairs, quiet laughter. Kids on bikes. Pinehurst Commons no longer felt like hers. It felt like ours. I looked at Sophia, at Evelyn, at the swing that had almost become a memorial but didn't. We hadn't just survived. We'd rewritten the rules. So if you're facing an HOA bully or any petty tyrant, remember this. Document. Speak. Act. Because the moment you stand up, their power begins to fail.